Thank you so much for offering to present with AARP on our webinar platform, Intrado. Now, ideally, we'll want to run some tests to make sure everything is set up the day before. First, I wanted to show you when people come to register, this is what it looks like for them. They can sign up for your event. They'll see a picture of you and a little bit of information about when it is, how long it is, a little description. They can also log in if they're already registered. But what you're going to want to do is do a studio system test, and I will have a link to that pop up so you know right where to do it. This works best if you're using Firefox or Chrome, and it will connect to all the different microphones and cameras connected with your computer. So it will go through these steps and this process. If it's not working in one browser, you can always try the other. Chrome works incredibly well. So it's connecting to each of these, and you'll want to, when you're presenting, use a headset. This will minimize background noise. If you have even just headphones, that's ideal. Or if you have a nice microphone, that is great as well. You want to avoid wearing jewelry because those can make noise during the webinar, such as necklaces, earrings, anything like that. And if possible, you definitely want to connect directly to a landline, to an Ethernet cable. Like I am here, it's not Wi-Fi. I'm wired directly in. But if you are using Wi-Fi, if you only have that option, please be as close to the router as possible. Okay, so everything connected. So now I can see what it's going to look like. So I selected the camera I'm going to use. You want to make sure that there's light in front of you, that you don't have the light behind you, because that will make you a silhouette. And yeah, if it's in front of you, that's even better than if it's a light directly overhead. It's just a softer, it looks a lot better. So I will select the audio device. I have this actual microphone connected, but it may just be the built-in microphone. So once I select the audio device, I'll actually be able to hear what it sounds like. So you'll uncheck that, and you'll want to use headphones so it doesn't repeat it over and over. I'm going to mute it for myself because I can't really present while I'm listening back to my voice at the same time, but it shows up in the green, which means that it is not clipping or compressing the audio or too much for it to handle. So that's exactly where you want to see it, and you want to make sure the audio sounds really great. So once you have that set up on the day of the webinar, let me show you everything in the interface. You should get your own link. So you have over here, you want to make sure that under My Devices, make sure you're under Sources, and there you can select the right camera and microphone, and it should show up. These are audio waveforms, hearing your voice, and those should be in the green, not yellow or red. That means it's getting too much volume and is going to distort the audio. So in the green is the best. And at any point, if you want to get rid of your video or mute the audio, you have that option. Your producer, I'll show you really quickly what their dashboard looks like. It's very, very similar to yours. They can actually add you over to the video area. So that's something that they will need to do. And they will be monitoring the studio chat. So getting all the chat from people who are viewing the webinar, asking questions. So they'll monitor this, and I'll jump back into your view. Very, very similar. The producer will give you things to feature in the chat. So you can actually X out of this because you don't want to see all the questions. You don't want to be typing back and forth. You actually want to just see what the producer is giving you in the chat and just mention people by name and then answer their question. So you could say, Jeff has a question, read the question, and then give a response. So Up here, you'll see the staff. So right now it's just me and my producer. And that's everything under sources. Let's get into, so you have all the different slides that you're presenting, and you can actually adjust pretty precisely how things are laid out, make things work really, really well for you. You can resize it as much as you want. These bubbles down here, there's really only one that you may use, and that's Handouts. This is the best place to access different handouts that you've included. And a lot of it will happen in the presentation timeline and slide notes. So when you're presenting, you just click next and you go between the different slides. You can include your own slide notes of things that you can mention. The audience is not going to see any of this timeline, any of the notes. They will simply see your video as well as the slides. I'll show you really briefly. This is what their view looks like. So they can see your video, your slides when you're actually live, and they can punch in questions that your producer will be answering. So you can choose back and forth between these two. So you actually have the option to hide the slide notes. There's a little button right here where you can minimize that. And you just click that again to pull it back up if you want to look at the presentation timeline and slide notes. But you can still switch between all the slides and go through absolutely everything, even if this is hidden. This will say rehearsal mode when you're not actually live yet. Your producer will be the one who actually pushes the web stream live. So as you're going through, when you go to a video, you won't be able to hear the audio, but all of your viewers will be able to hear it. So it will show up like that. For you, all of your attendees will be able to hear all of your audio. And you just wait for the video to end, and then you can move to the next slide and keep moving and keep presenting. You can actually drag it over if you need to see the slides and go through the slides. And you want to make sure that you are always visible on the screen. If you are not seeing anything in the video portion, that means your audience cannot see you. Anytime you're not speaking, just be sure to mute yourself and remember to turn your audio back on before you start speaking again. Then you can go back to the chat where you'll primarily spend your time, since you'll be seeing all the messages from your producer. Let me show you really quick. So this is rehearsal mode. We're not actually live, but let me go to the producer's end. They'll click start webcast, start now. Now we are in live mode. You can actually see the numbers counting. You can still mute yourself, have the same controls. And under chat, you can see as the producer types in different things, it will pop up in your view. So you don't want to actually respond. You do want to just say, hey, there's a question from this person. You want to go through the various slides, moving kind of back and forth anytime you need to mute yourself. And it will play for everyone else. So this is what it looks like for viewers. I can actually hear all of the audio, and they can ask a question. So your producer will actually be monitoring the studio chat and can put any relevant ones over here that will eventually end with you. That is absolutely everything you need to know. You are good to go and ready to present now. Congratulations on making it all the way through.